are diving right into the stocking. We're going to start with Santa's beard, and we're going to layer each layer on top of each other, as well as finishing his hat and the rest of his face. And we're going to start with number 21, and I'm going to just show you the simple stitches that we'll be using. And for this piece, we're going to start with, it goes on the very bottom. And I'm just going to show you how I do this. So we're going to start with a running stitch. So I cut out piece number 21 just to show you, and we're using 3 strands of light blue thread. It doesn't really look like light blue. It kind of looks like a light grayish blue color. It's an interesting color. And this is how I do the running stitch. Very similar to how I do beads and sequins when they're close together. So when I do those, I usually do them like this. That way I'm not constantly going up and down with my hand. My hand stays up here, which saves a lot of time. So I'm just following the line and trying really hard not to get it knotted up, because it can get knotted up rather quickly. And I'm going to finish this off camera. Okay, so now that we have the running stitch finished, we're going to do the white beads at the bottom. And I always use 2 strands of whatever color, and in this case they're going to be white. And I just grabbed a bunch of sequins and beads. Make sure that the sequin is facing the right direction. Flat end goes on the bottom, bead goes on top. And then since I'm using 2 strands of thread, I just go through the sequin once. And see how this is the same stitch as I did with the running stitch. So this is pretty much a quick version on how to do beads that are really close together. When you have beads that are a little farther apart, it's harder to do that. But when they're in a line like this is a quick and easy way to fill up a bunch of beads. Do be careful to make sure that you're putting the needle in the right spot, because I've had beads pop off. Oops. Happens a few times. So I applique it on, and I'm just checking the stuffing level. I just don't want it to be too puffy. And I'm doing it a little differently than the kit, okay? So in the kit, you applique the top, but you leave the bottom hanging, and each layer of the beard lays on top of each other, and there is no stuffing. But I actually wanted to do something different and make it a little bit more full looking, so I decided to add stuffing. And I really liked the way it turned out, and it feels like a sturdy stocking. So I'm going to do this for every single layer. Okay, and then I'll show you what it looks like as I do them. Okay, so here is the white felt, and I'm just showing you the stitches on there, and they're pretty much the same all the way around. That is a back stitch, by the way. So there's a back stitch. There's a couple of back stitch areas right there and right there on the mustache. You can see there's a couple of back stitch areas, but all the rest of them are running stitch. So now I'm just going to layer each one on top of each other, and it does take a little bit longer when I'm stuffing these, but it's so worth it. I think it turned out really cute. Okay, so we're on the very top layer, and this is what it looks like so far. Tell me in the comments if you like this version of this stocking, or if you prefer not stuffing it. Okay, so I'm going to add the mouth first before I applique this piece. So I just added the mouth before I appliqued this piece onto the stocking. It just makes it a lot easier. And then I'm going to go ahead and stuff this piece. Okay, so here is a close-up on his mustache. And in the instructions, it just says to attach it on the top and on the bottom in the middle, and that's it. Everything else just hangs. So I just use the pins to secure it in place while I do that. So you're just doing a little tack stitch And I just grab white because that's the top color. Sorry, I'm out of the frame. Hold on. Trying to get my needle in the right position. There we go. And then I'm just going to tack it here. You can put a couple stitches here if you like, however you feel comfortable. My workspace is so tiny. Like I have a ring light that I use that holds my phone because I film with my phone, and it's less than a foot tall. So I'm working with what I have, but eventually I'm gonna need to get a taller, more sturdy phone holder because I keep knocking the camera. And it's hard to see too. Maybe I'll ask Santa for a new tripod for my phone. Alright, there we go. Okay, so now we're in business. And I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom too. So I'm actually going to do that off camera because that was kind of a pain. Here I'm adding Santa's nose. Simple, nothing, no embellishment on the nose, just 2 pieces sewn together, stuffed in the middle. And I'm just going to apply that onto his face off camera. That's what his nose looks like. And if you find that there's stamps that you don't want shown, just grab the tip of your needle and rub them off. Okay, so I went ahead and added the holly and the berries. And the holly has backstitch, light green. And I'm just going to place this right here. I'm going to pin it just to keep it secure while I applique this on. And I leave the ends kind of hanging, so. And we are stuffing this ever so slightly, not too much. I think that's so cute. Okay, so just showing you what the holly leaves look like. I only stitched it in the middle so that the holly leaves just kind of stick out. But they're still sturdy, they won't move. The leaves turned out really cute. And then we're going to, there's a couple of little hair pieces that we still have to put on. And I'll just put those on real quick. Okay. Okay, so we've got Santa's little tufts right here. It's very lightly stuffed on both of them. They both have backings to them. And I just appliqued those together onto the stocking. And this is what we have so far. Usually a name goes here, but I'm actually going to make a separate tag for the name so that whoever orders it can have it embroidered their name on there. And this stocking is available for purchase on my Etsy shop. Link is in the description box below, so look out for that. And I am going to do the tag, and I'll do the hang tag too. So the hang tag was just a regular color green, no embellishment. I added the embellishment here, so I wanted it to kind of match the front. And I went ahead and attached it to the front so it didn't move around. And I'm going to cover it with the lining. So that's why I added it first, so that when it is done, you won't see it. And the lining is a little bit too big, so I'm going to cut it down. And it's okay if it's not perfect because nobody's going to see it. This is just to protect your stitches, and it just looks finished. So grab some pins, pin your lining, and then we're going to applique it. I'm using 1 strand of white, and I'm going to start here. You can start anywhere, but I just was like, yeah, I'll just start right here. And I trimmed the lining just short of the stocking because when I put the backing on, I want to attach the backing to the stocking and not the lining. So I wanted the lining to be a little bit smaller. And I'm using an applique stitch that matches the white felt. And make sure that you're not going through more than the next layer of felt. And I can hide this pretty easy. And for some reason, if I feel like that and I always check the front. Every time I do a stitch, I always look at the front and make sure it doesn't go all the way through. Because sometimes I will accidentally go too far down and the stitch will show on the front, and I don't want that. So I'm constantly checking to make sure that I don't go too far down. You only need to grab just a little bit of felt. But right here, I really don't need to check because there are several layers up top, so it's pretty guaranteed that I won't see anything. Oh, there's a knot. Oh, don't you love it when when this happens? Look at that knot. I'm just going along sewing and this huge knot just kind of forms. This happens so often. Do you have this problem? Comment down below if you have this problem. It happens to me a lot, so often. And even when I'm going slow, what's up with that? I don't understand. But just, there we go. That actually wasn't too bad. Sometimes I'll get knots that will not budge. And I'll have to compromise, cut it, and then, knot it, and then restart. Which can be frustrating. So I'm going to go all the way around to the top, and then I'm going to change color. Okay, so notice that I actually changed color on the bottom because the main color on the front is green, and I did not want white because white will show. But because the top of it was white, I was like, yeah, I'll just use white just in case. But when it came to the side, I switched to the green color. And now all my stitches are protected. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, and now we're going to put the backing on. Okay, so now that we are on the backing part of it, I'm using the backing that it came with the kit, and I don't trim it at all. So I just kind of move the edge along. So right there, normally you'd trim it. I don't trim it because I want a little bit more give, but I will trim the top here just to make it even and look nice. And then I'll pin that down and then sew it in. But I'm gonna actually apply this off camera, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, the back is finished. And I used green to match the front. You always want to match your lining color with the front felt color. And since the main color here is green, I used green. It gives it a nice finish. And then I grabbed a pin, and I'm going to pin the hang tab. I'm using white thread for this, not green. And I'll do that off camera because it's awkward under the camera. Here is the finished stocking. And I filled in the front here where the name usually goes because I made a tag. And there's what it looks like on the inside. So I made this. This did not come with the kit, but this is going with the stocking to whoever decides to buy it. So their name's going to go on here, and it's going to come with it. Super easy, super cute. And I'm not going to close it yet because I still have to do the name, so that's why it's pinned. But there is the beautiful stocking. If you love this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Thank you so much for watching. I truly enjoyed this stocking. Great beginner stocking. And I'll see you in my next one.